Hello. I'm still alive. Here I am. It's been a while. It's been like 3, 4, 5 years. Yeah. Here's what happened, right? So, first and foremost, I'm in my living room. As you can see, there's a cat tree. As you may be able to hear, speak of the devil. Speak of the devil? Oh, baby. Oh, I know. Hi, Button. I'm just gonna talk around the cat. So, in 2016, I read a lot of books. In 2017, I read 0 books. Where you think you're going, baby? No, Hodowie. In 2018, I read 9 books. Well, I decided that in 2019, I wanted to read 52. It's a book a week. That was my goal at the beginning of the year, and I was struggling. And then, at the end of August, I started a new job where I work mainly independently on my own. Everyone kind of just like puts their headphones in and work, that was right, grammatically right, puts their headphones in and work, whatever, you get the gist. And so I decided to start listening to audiobooks when I was at work, and wow, it went well. I've got my list of books that I read in September, read/listened to on the audiobooks. Sorry, I have like cat hair in my nose. So anyway, that's what's going on. This is my September wrap up, I guess is what these are called. I'm not good at reviews. I'm just going to tell you what I thought, what my rating was, what the book is about a little bit, so you know if you're interested or not. Sorry for the bad lighting. I gotta figure this thing out, but it's October 1st, and I'm slacking already. So, let's get into the books. So, the first book I read in this month is Girl, Stop Apologizing by Rachel Hollis. A lot of these books were library books or the audiobooks, and so I'm just gonna put the pictures here. And I have a few physical copies, but most of them are not gonna have a physical copy, so get that out of the way. But Girl, Stop Apologizing is Rachel's second book. Her first book is called Girl, Wash Your Face. I had mixed feelings about Girl, Wash Your Face. I thought it was okay. I thought Girl, Stop Apologizing was much better. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. If you're into like self-help books, I recommend it. It's kind of marketed as like a spiritual or Christian self-help book, but I'm not religious and I didn't feel like it was personally. Like, she mentions her religion a few times, but it's not like a major part of the book. So if that's keeping you from reading it, it's not that serious. The second book that I read in September is Wilder Girls by Rory Power. So this book I've heard described as like a modern Lord of the Flies. I've never read Lord of the Flies. Don't come for me. I haven't. But pretty much all these girls are stranded on an island. They're all sick with this disease. Chaos ensues. That's kind of where I'm going to leave it at. I thought it was really good. The cover is gorgeous, as you can see. I didn't know much about it going in, except for what I heard about it being like Lord of the Flies, and I really enjoyed it, so that's that one. The last day of August, I saw this little musical called The Book of Mormon. If you don't know what this musical is about, it is about these 2 Mormon missionaries who are sent to Uganda, Africa, to, like, you know, be missionaries and get people baptized in the church. It's a comedy. I'm going to start off there. It's a comedy. It's by the guys that made South Park and also the musical Avenue Q, which is a raunchy puppet musical. Anyway, I didn't know anything about the Book of Mormon before I saw it, didn't know any of the music, I literally knew nothing about it, and I loved it. So, after seeing it, I obviously looked up YouTube videos and stuff, and found that the person that originated the main role wrote a book recently. So, the third book I read this month was Too Much Is Not Enough by Andrew Rannells. Andrew, like I just said, originated the role of Elder Price, which is like one of the two main missionaries. And this book is just kind of about his journey to Broadway, not to Book of Mormon. The book ends when he gets cast in his first Broadway show. So, and that was in 2005, and he was in Book of Mormon in like 2011-ish, I think. So it starts from like him growing up to him being on Broadway. Just putting that out there. I thought he would talk about the Book of Mormon in it. He didn't. That was fine with me. I gave this book 5 stars. It was hilarious. It was heart-wrenching. It was sad. Like, I loved it so much, and I, like, wish I could find more books like it. So if you have any ideas or recommendations, let me know. While I was on that musical grind, I finally read Dear Evan Hansen. Nope, just says Dear Evan Hansen through the window. I can't tell if this is going to be flipped or not. When you see it, it's flipped right now. It probably will be because I'm not good at technology. But this book is just, it's like, as you can see, huge. It's like a coffee table size book. And it's got like pictures from the show and just all kinds of notes about getting the show on its feet and the Tonys and all of that. Obviously, I love this. I gave it 5 stars. If you're a fan of the musical, or if you're a fan of kind of like how things are made, I would recommend this. Okay, so now we're getting into the audiobooks. So the first audiobook I listened to at work is Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. This book, okay, I have a history with Gone Girl. I had the book for years, and I tried to read it at least 3 times. Just couldn't get into it, so I unhauled my copy of it. I took it off of my TBR, like, forever, and I was like, I'm just never gonna read it, I guess. Didn't see the movie, nothing. I just was just like, Gone Girl is dead to me, essentially. So, I decided to start with that one as my first audiobook to kind of ease my way in. There was no easing in with this book. It's very intense. I'm sure probably all of you have read it or seen the movie, so you know what's going on. Yeah, it was great. I found it thrilling. I already knew the main twist. I mean, it comes like halfway through the book. It had already been spoiled for that part, but everything else was like, what is going on? Loved it. Gave it 5 stars. It was great. The second audiobook that I read/listened to in the 6th book of September was Dark Places by Gillian Flynn. This book was amazing. I loved this so much. I liked it better than Gone Girl. I was living for it. If you don't know, this book essentially, main character, when she was a child, her mom and 2 sisters were murdered, and her brother was found guilty and is in prison. This is not a spoiler. This is the first, 5 pages of the book, okay? He's in prison, and these, murder enthusiasts, people that find murder fascinating, think that her brother is innocent. So she kind of she works with this club to try to free her brother and find the culprit. That's what it's about. It was amazing. I loved it. My jaw was dropping at work. I need my headphones in, just typing away, and I was like, legit, okay? I loved it. Clearly 5 stars. There's a movie. Charlize Theron is the star, and she's beautiful, and I love her. I love the movie. I love the book. It's all great. I think at this point you can tell what the next book I read/listened to was. It was Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn, her third and, well, it wasn't her third, but the third of her books. I don't think she has any others right now except for that little short one, which I've already read before. Not important. Sharp Objects was okay. Wasn't my favorite. Was predictable. Was not as thrillery, and the writing wasn't great. I think it was her first book, and it shows. Didn't really like it. I gave it 2 stars. if you're gonna pick up one of her books, I would definitely pick up either Dark Places or Gone Girl, but at least now I can say I've read them all. The next book is Bird Box by Josh Malerman. This book is not new, and even the movie that was on Netflix with Sandra Bullock is not new. It's actually at this point probably old news, but I was on the thriller train, wanted to listen to a thriller. It was available from the library to check out via audiobook, so I did, and I didn't really like it. I gave it 2 stars. I thought it was kind of boring. Didn't really make sense. Maybe it's because it was the audiobook and it was just hard to follow, like who the characters were, where they were, because like she couldn't describe anything. Like, if you know the gist of it, they have to wear blindfolds because there's some monster that if you see it, it like turns you crazy. So nothing, no like area could ever really be described. So I just found it hard to follow. Wasn't my favorite. As I stated, 2 stars. But I haven't watched the movie yet, but I kind of want to. But yeah. Okay, so here's where we're gonna deviate a little bit. So a theme in one of the books I read that I've already discussed is like cults. And so I became infatuated with cults, and I read a lot of books about cults, okay? Like, a lot. And these are all audiobooks. These are all audiobooks except for one. But the first one I listened to was Escape by Carolyn Jessup. This one was highly recommended on some random article I found. I just typed best cult books, and this one was like number 1. And yeah, I loved it. I gave it 4 stars. I heard to say I loved it. It is about the Fundamentalist Church of Latter-day Saints, which is a branch of Mormonism. Is Mormonism a word? I think it is Mormonism. It's a branch of the Mormon Church where they practice polygamy. She kind of exposes the abuse that she dealt with from her sister wives, from her husband, from her sister wives and her husband to her children, things like that. And it just talks about her escaping the church, and it was crazy. She had 8 kids, and I don't want to like give it away, but I really, really, really recommend this book, and it was great. It was the first one I listened to. If it had been bad, I probably wouldn't have listened to any of these other ones, but it was stellar. So, on the theme of cults, the next book I listened to was Troublemaker by Leah Remini. So, Leah Remini is an actress. She, I guess, is best known for being in the TV show King of Queens, but she's also been in movies. She was on The Talk, I think, the first season. I like her personally. I think she's very, like, outspoken in a good way. But she used to be in the Church of Scientology, and she left in 2013, so about 6 years ago. So this book is just about her life as a celebrity in the Church of Scientology. This was mind-blowing. I loved it. First of all, I loved her writing. Second of all, the audiobook was read by her, which I loved. I love when memoirs are read by the author, especially if there's someone really charismatic like she is. It was great. Third of all, she talks about Mr. Tom Cruise, who is like the most famous Scientologist, and I'm just like shocked. Like, I couldn't believe the things that she was saying. Like, I do believe them, but I was shocked. Anyway, this video is already going so long, so I have to shorten this, as I think I'm not even halfway through. Okay, time to focus up. I gave this 5 stars. The next book I read was the Tea Dragon Festival, and this is the second book. The first book is called The Tea Dragon Society. This is from the library, and I love this so much. I gave it 5 stars. I gave the first book 5 stars. There are just these cute little dragon babies. I love this. I hope that there are more in this series, or if there's not, I hope that she writes more, please. The next book I read was another audiobook, and this one was called The Witness Wore Red by Rebecca Musser. This is another book about the FLDS, or the Fundamentalist Church of Latter-day Saints. This one is talking about the Texas raid of the ranch. I won't go into too much detail because it's a whole thing, but if you're interested, first of all, read the book. Second of all, you can just Google FLDS Texas Ranch Raid and see everything. Rebecca Musser escaped the FLDS church and was like a prime witness and help in the investigation of the crimes in the FLDS church. This was really good. I gave it 3 stars, which might sound like it's not really good. It was just really repetitive, and it didn't. Her escape was not. This sounds bad, but like her escape story was kind of boring. She was just one person who just left. No one chased her. No one kind of did anything. She just kind of left. And it sounds bad, but it wasn't that. It didn't lend well to like building a story and building suspense. So anyway, 3 stars. The next book I listened to was Ruthless by Ron Miscavige. So this is another book about Scientology. The current head of the Church of Scientology is David Miscavige, and Ron is David's father. I was so excited to listen to this. I thought I would get some great intel and learn more about the church, blah, 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 blah. It was kind of boring. I gave it 2 stars. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't great. I was hoping for a lot more, considering that he's like the father of the leader of the church, but you know, you win some, you lose some. The next book I read was The Hidden Power of Effing Up. Keep this G-rated, by the Try Guys. If you don't know, the Try Guys are, they have a YouTube channel, and I know the quality on this is atrocious, so you can't see anything, but these are obviously them. They are YouTube personalities, and this was kind of a book by them about their lives and stuff like that. It was fine. I gave it 3 stars. I didn't find it necessary. I feel like a lot of these stories could have been more interesting in a video. Anyway, I don't regret reading it, but I'm going to pass this along to somebody else to read now. The next book I read was Beyond Belief by Jenna Miscavige Hill. By the name, I'm sure you maybe can tell it's another book about Scientology. Jenna Miscavige Hill is the niece of David Miscavige, the current head of the Church of Scientology. This one was better than Ron Miscavige, who was her grandfather's. It was better than his book, but it still wasn't like outstanding. I gave this 3 stars. Yeah, that's kind of it. Next, I listened to Seductive Poison by Deborah Layton. This book is about Jonestown, which was a cult. If you've ever heard the phrase, like, don't drink the Kool-Aid, that stems from Jonestown. Pretty much, this guy, Jim Jones, was a leader, and all these people followed him, and he convinced them that people were coming to kill them. There's more to it, but they all drank Kool-Aid. Wasn't really Kool-Aid, but like what we would call Kool-Aid, laced with cyanide, and it's the biggest mass suicide in history. So this is Deborah Layton survived this. She like wasn't there when it happened, but she escaped Jonestown not too long before the mass suicide happened, and this is just her talking about that. I gave this book 4 stars. I thought it was really good. It was a little repetitive. It was longer than it needed to be, but I really liked it. I thought it shed a lot of light on what happened at Jonestown and why people were so enamored with Jim Jones. So yeah. The next book I read was Triumph by Carolyn Jessup. I read her first book was Escape, which was the first book of all these cult books that I read, and this is her second book, Triumph. This is about FLDS, and it's about her life after she escaped. Escape kind of ends with her escape, and this one kind of starts up there, and it also talks about the Texas raid, even though she was not living in Texas. It talks about her life afterward, like trying to find a home, trying to get a job, trying to date, things like that. This one was interesting. It was fine. I gave it 4 stars just because I really respect her story and I enjoy listening to her story. Yeah, that's that one. The next one is The Sound of Gravel by Ruth Werner, another FLDS book, but this one was set in Mexico, which is very different from any of the other ones I've read. This one really made me sad and hurt me inside. I gave this one 5 stars. It was the best one I read on FLDS. I mean, I listened to an audiobook, but you know, it's the same thing. This one was really great. If you're looking to get into books like this, I wouldn't start with this one because it kind of like, it will shock you. I would start with Escape or The Witness War Red, one of those two. But this one was really, really great. The next book I read was Breaking Free by Rachel Jeffs. This is another book about the FLDS. This is, I think, probably the last one I'm going to read. But this is about Rachel Jeffs, who is, I mean, it's by Rachel Jeffs, but she is the daughter of Warren Jeffs, who was like the prophet of the FLDS church. Why can I not say that? Anyway, so this is just about her story and like her childhood abuse, and it just gives you an interesting look at a child of the leader of the church. And this was really well written. There was no ghostwriter, at least not that I saw. The writing was great. This one was really, really good. I gave this 5 stars. Alright, we only got 2 more books. The second to last one is Binge by Tyler Oakley. I'll start by saying I've owned this book for so many years, it's not even funny, probably since it came out. I listened to this as an audiobook at work, and I thought it was so funny and relatable, and I really enjoyed it. Tyler actually read the audiobook himself, and I love, like I said, I love when authors read their own books, and it was really funny, and I liked it a lot. And if you don't know, Tyler is a YouTuber. I don't actually regularly watch his videos, but like if he's on a video with someone else that I watch, I will watch it. Doesn't matter. I gave this 4 stars. And the very last book I read this month is Buffering by Hannah Hart. Hannah is also a YouTuber, and this book really surprised me. I thought it would be funny and, you know, comedic like Tyler's was, because she is a comedic YouTuber. But that was not the case at all. This was sad and heart-wrenching and real and raw and emotional. She talked about her mother who has schizophrenia and just her family troubles and like her hard life as a child, and I cannot recommend this book enough. I gave it 5 stars. I don't watch Hannah's videos. It's the same situation as Tyler. If she makes a video with someone I watch, I'll watch it, but I'm not subscribed to her. I don't watch her videos. I adored this book. I adored this book so much. It just like resonated with me so hard, even though I didn't, none of the things that she experienced that I experienced, but yet I felt like I was kind of like going with her on her journey. This was great. I don't know if I already said 5 stars, but it was 5 stars. So that's it. The month of September 2019, I read 21 books. Let me get my little stats out. So I gave 8 books 5 stars, which is kind of intense, but you know. I gave 6 books 4 stars. I gave 3 books 3 stars. That's fun. And then I gave 3 books 2 stars. So, you know, not too shabby. I feel like the mean of this is probably like 4 point something. You know, we're doing great. Thank you so much for watching. I'm not going to do an October TBR because my tastes change all the time, and I don't like to like set out what I want to read. I just read what I want to read as the month goes. So that's it for this video. Thanks for checking it out, and I'll see you next time. Bye!